Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and we are going to be playing with Mix2Mold again. This time we are going to be using some different kind of gel paste, if you will, to do something fun. You know me, I like to find new and unique things to do, and especially I like to do it with Mix2Mold. Resin's great. I mean, you can pretty much put anything in a mold and resin will pick it up. And you've seen me do some tests where, like, I'm just trying to find new and exciting ways to work with Mix2Mold to create new and interesting pieces. Because for me, that's what makes it fun. That's what, you know, the uniqueness of it all. And again, you all know by now, those who have been following me for a while, that I like uniqueness. So I'm going to show you some stuff. We're going to work this a little backwards this time. I'm going to start by showing you what I've done, and then we're going to do it. Okay, so we'll get to these ones in a minute. I had done an initial test using some of the pastes that I had, and then I covered them with Mix2Mold. Now, as you can see in this one, that didn't come out very well the first go around, and I thought, okay, fair enough. I need to go back to the drawing board a little bit, and I had done this piece, and as you can see, again, when I took it out of the mold, I lost some of the greenery on it. Fair. And then I did this one. Now it's interesting because with this one I wasn't going to do the same strategy with this one that we're going to do the other two. I wasn't going to do this because, well, as you can see, again, I was pulling things off. So what I had used to create this can't be flaking off like this. I mean, what's the point? Now, the only advantage, if there is one, is, you know, if you took this out and then you left her with the indentation and you could fill that in with something. But that's not the purpose of this whatsoever. I went back to the drawing board, and I made 3 more pieces, but I changed things up. So what I had used to create this one, I took out of the picture, but I went and used the other 3. Well, I came up with a new thing to do. I know, it sounds so odd. You get it. You'll get it in a minute. You'll get it in a minute. So this is using the black opaque texture paste with one of the Goose pastes that I got from Eye Candy. I used Stan in this one, that's the name of it, and I got this. So I did the paste, and then I poured the Mix2Mold over top, and this is what I got. This one, I'm so wanting to figure out a way of incorporating mica powders with Mix2Mold, not in the, like, not mixing it into the ceramic resin before it's poured, but just using mica powders in. And I still don't really have it the way I want it. Like, I want to expand and come up with new. But anyways, having said that, this is, if I'm not mistaken, that is using the Liquitex gloss gel and mica powder. And who's mica powder? I used a no-name brand for that mica powder, and I got this. This one, which has all the sort of glitter in it, if you can see that, I used Grip Paste Snowfall and mica powder. This one, to be specific. Now, you'll notice that this one has run. Like, we've got running happening on here. So, I'm not recommending, nor will I be using the Snowfall. I think what is happening is when the Mix2Mold is hitting it, it is causing an issue with the crystals that are in here somehow and causing the color to bleed. I won't be doing this again, but definitely the idea exists that you could put some glitter in, because you can mix quite a few different products in with a paste in order to get it to get the color you want and to get the glitter effect, which is kind of neat. It's nice that it glitters. It ran, and I didn't want that. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to take the grip paste out of this. So I'm just going to put that off to the side. Remember this? This as far as I've gotten. I'm going to have to do more to these, but hey, I'm one step closer. I'll put that off to the side too, because that's from the last video. What are we going to do? Well, we're not using the black opaque in this one, so that's off to the side. What we're going to use is, I've got 2 of my old silicone molds here. One that's got stuff in it. I tell you, you just can't get away from that dust, can you? So let me just clean this off. Go in here. What are we going to do? Well, we are going to mix up some, as I get set up in this. I really needed to have this done ahead of time. Okay, put that off the side, doesn't matter. We're going to take 2 of these stencils. They're Mandela stencils. And one thing I might recommend too, when you're working with stencils like this, if they have the hole in the corner there and you want to avoid getting anything going through that, is just to put a piece of tape over top of it. I can use my masking tape if I want, but I'm going to be really careful with this. So we're just going to put that one in there and push them down. They tend to stick a little bit. And then I've got this one that we're going to put over here. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take, let's see, I think I'll do it that way. I'm going to take the texture paste opaque, and I'm going to mix in some of this mica powder, and then we're going to put it on one, and then we're going to take some of this gloss gel, and I want to try out this Goose paste Gina, because it's such a pretty color. I mean, look at that. You know, you see, if you saw the video where I did with the haul I did of the eye candy stuff, it's pretty cool. And I should have mixed that up before I got going on this. So let me just get some stuff put off the side. If you've ever worked with some of the pastes, and I say any paste, it doesn't have to be eye candy, I would recommend putting gloves on when you're mixing things up, just so that you don't get it on your hands. Remember, very pigmented. If you don't care if your hands are all colorful, then hey, knock yourself out. Don't put gloves on. If you are like me and don't want to get all that stuff all over your hands, then I recommend mixing it up. So let's do that first. And I have these, what are called nodgers, to get it in, because the spatulas I have for, you know, doing some bigger pieces, yeah, don't really work well in there. So we are going to use those nodgers. And you know what, when I was doing this project, I decided that what I was going to do was, yeah, I go to the liquor store every once in a while, and I'm going to get some of the boxes. And you know how they have the dividers in the boxes? Well, I'm just going to take some of those dividers and cut them down into small little pieces like this. They'll be more stable than what these are, but these work for now. And they're just little squares that have been cut up. They're a thick cardstock, if you will. Not very well, they're thick enough for what I need them for. So we're just going to get 2 of those out. They'll work for now. Mixed up our paste. See how pretty that is? I can't wait. I'm going to have to find something spring related of theirs and come up with something really nice and bright and cheery for spring. I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but we've had some pretty nasty storms where I live, and I know the States and down south, like, I mean, you guys have been getting some wild weather down there too. My brother lives in Cincinnati. He moved there not too long ago. I don't know if he's been there a year or not. And they got hit with a bad snowstorm, and, you know, he kind of went with the thought of, we won't get much snow. I don't need a snowblower or snow shovels and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, there you go. You've got it. All right. So let's just put this to the side for right now, and we'll mix this up. I'm just going to use my table as I usually do. Get this. I want to make sure I always have like wet baby wipes or stuff like that, just to clean up, because this stuff, like most pastes, it sets up really quickly. Now this stuff, It's setting up a little bit more than I want it to. I might add a little bit of water to it, and you don't need a lot of this, again, unless you want it somewhat thick, and I don't. So I guess for all I use it, it really doesn't matter if I use too much. And I think I will get it just a spritz of water on that. All that it's going to mean to me is it might take just a tad bit longer to set up. I don't need much. I just want to get a little bit of... Yeah, did you even see that happen? Yeah, neither did I. Okay, that's not doing anything of anything, is it? Yeah, that'll work better. Now, if you're the type that uses this stuff on a regular basis, you probably don't have to worry about it setting like mine is. I just haven't used it lately. I'm going to have to start using this stuff more often. Alrighty, now give me a little bit of this mica. And you can make this as, you know, colorful as you want it to be. Mica flies around, just so you know. Now, if we wanted to, we could definitely add glitter to this. I mean, that's totally, again, it's a preference as to what you do. And this almost has a matte look to it. It says opaque. I guess I could have hoped for it being a little more shiny, but that's okay. It's almost like making icing, isn't it? Where you're adding your food coloring and whatnot into it. Almost looks like you could eat it. Please don't. Please, please, please don't. Okay. So let me just clean this off. And we'll take one of these. Yeah, I seem to... There. Another one of those. That's probably, you know, that red that I got on there is probably from the mica powder. Alrighty. So all I'm going to do is take this, scoop up a little bit of this, not too much, and then we're just going to spread it through the stencil. And how cool it is, I don't have to, I've got a container over here to the side that I'm just going to throw these in, they'll fit in. And it's just a container that has some water in it so that I can move on to the next one and we don't end up with this sticking or drying on my stencil, because I don't want that. Now I do find that this may be a little too dry. I maybe needed to add some more water. And I found too that by spinning things around, I can fill in spaces better. I'm not doing the bestest job, but you'll get the gist of what we're doing here. Oh, yeah. Oh, come on, people. Work with me on this. I think it's because the paste is too dry. So I'm not doing the bestest. I maybe should have added some more water to it. And my cardboard's starting to get soft too, which isn't helping any. Darn it. And I'm pulling up my paste now. get this done and then we can get it lifted up. Oh, darn it. I'm going to swear politely. Do my sugar plum fairies for you. So make sure if you're using a paste that it's fairly moist. Hopefully most of them are water-based, so you could just add a little bit of water at a time to moisten it up. All right, that's all we're going to do because this is setting up. So we'll take this off. Now my best work. Okay, so we've got that on there. I'll just stick that in the water. Oh, it's not quite big enough, but it'll do for what I want. And then let's clean this up. Yeah. Now, what I did find helpful when I was doing this, depending on the surface you've got, I spritzed on some isopropyl alcohol to help clean it off, and that did help. Okay, now let's get another wet wipe. Clean that off. That away. So that's the opaque. Next time I use it, I'm going to have to add some water to it. So when I talk about the isopropyl, I'm just put a little bit down on my surface. Again, depends on what you're using and what your surface is like, and then just that seemed to help clean it up a little more. Okay. So that's what that one looks like. We're going to let that sit. And I'm going to tell you what I believe was the difference in the two scenarios I had with doing this technique. And I'll do that once we've got the second one done. All right. Get that wiped up. Oh, apologies. My husband has had a cold. And of course, he's been home quite a bit lately, so I think I've picked it up. All right, let's just get that down. So this one should be easier to do because of the fact that both the gel I've got here and that paste are fairly what the other one was. All right, that should be more than enough. Now you've seen me in the past where I've taken stencils, like once the Mix2Mold's done, and then put the stencil on it. But this is a little neater from the concept than that. At least I think it is. There we go. That should be more than enough to color that up. I swear I get more stuff everywhere than where I want it to be. Alright, let's see if we can get that off my finger. You know, you'd almost think you wouldn't bother doing stuff like this because of that. So let me stop making a mess. Or maybe you're one of these people who looks at my videos and says, well, better you making the mess than me making the mess. Yeah, these plastic ones, cheap. I mean, I guess there's a point to them being as bendy as they are, but I think they're too bendy. I wish I had some sparkle around. I'd throw it on this, but I don't have any handy. Get that out of there. Noticing a speck in there, and that just won't do. All right, let's do this. I was gonna say, what did I do with these guys? Okay, so this will be a lot easier to spread. And just take your time with it. Well, within reason, right? Like you can only take so much time when you're working with this. So I guess be reasonable in the amount of time you take. but it is so much easier and better when you take your time to do these. I find when I get, again, when I first started with the Mix2Mold, I got rushed with it because I was so concerned about it setting up. And then that's when I, you know, things don't necessarily turn out. So I try and do my bestest to take my time so I can get, you know, the design I want, or I just get things the way I want them. So again, we're just, as we're going around, I'm just turning the mold so I can get the paste where I need to. Oh, I apologize. I don't like sniffling like that. Now again, the thickness, that's a personal preference as to how thick you want this to be. And sometimes it's kind of nice when you have it different thicknesses, just to give a different design look, I guess. Okay, I'll take that off. Okay, so there's number 2. Again, I'll get that off my stick. All right, so used not a lot, but that's okay. Again, I don't like wasting it, but I always find that if I don't make enough, then I get frustrated that I have to make more. But you already knew that about me. Oops. Alright, right there. Throw that out. I gotta get that stuck down into the water. Good thing that plastic sort of bounces back, right? For the most part. My apology. Nope, I'm gonna stop apologizing for my cold. Alright, now, one of the things I think that happened with the first set that I had done was that I didn't let these sit long enough to dry. I left them for about an hour. I thought that would be sufficient from a dry perspective, and I don't think it was. So these are going to sit for at least 2 hours, and then we're going to come back. We're going to do our Mix2Mold. We're going to mix it up. I'm going to do, what did I do? I think I did 60 mil. When I originally did it, I used, I think, 30 for these ones that I originally did. And it was, the reason I did that was because I was just testing it out, right? I wanted to see what I could do. So I didn't want to use a lot of the Mix2Mold. But once I sort of figured out what I needed to do, when I did these second ones, I did them, I think I did 60 mils. Now with this one, I think, okay, I have to admit a little bit on this one too. So when I did these two, they got poured in one shot. I hadn't mixed up enough for this one. So you'll notice it's thicker. And I don't know, to be honest with you, whether or not that had anything to do with the fact that I had poured it, didn't have enough, then waited just a little bit and poured it again. If the moisture from the second batch affected that I don't know. But I didn't want to try this again. I thought, no, we'll just stick with these two, and then maybe at some future date, or if you happen to have the texture paste Snowfall, give it a go and, you know, let me know what happens. Definitely let that sit for 2 hours. Like before you pour your Mix2Mold on it, definitely I would let that sit for 2 hours for sure, for sure, for sure. But these I am going to let sit for 2 hours. Going to come back. We're going to mix up, I'm going to say 60 mil for each of these because they're fairly big. And then we're going to pour them, and we're going to see if we can't recreate Now the nice thing about this, and some people may be wondering about the coloring, I don't mind it on this one because of it being the deer head. I think it actually looks kind of cool that way. But the nice thing is you can just cover it in resin now. You don't have to go through doing this and then covering it in resin. It's right embedded into the Mix2Mold, which I really like. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other side of these, but I'd really like to make them in, like these two into coasters, because they turned out fairly decently. So yeah. Anyway, we are going to let this sit for 2 hours now, and then I'll come back and then we'll pour our Mix2Mold. I don't know whether I'm going to add color to the Mix2Mold because I can, or whether just to leave it and just do white. So talk amongst yourselves and, you know, let me know what you think I should do. Anyway, I'll be back in a little while. As I was walking back downstairs to continue on this video, I thought to myself, it must be so much fun for you guys because you're not having to wait for the next step. Whereas for us who are creating the videos, we definitely have to wait for some of the next steps. I just found a little bit of irony in that of having to wait. Anyway, we're going to carry on. These have been sitting for about 2.5 hours now. This one is definitely dry. And this one, it almost doesn't feel dry, but I think it's because of the type of gloss gel it is. So it's giving me that illusion of not being dry. Before I left and now came back, I thought about what colors, if any, I would put in with my Mix2Mold. So I have decided I'm going to use some colors. I'm just shaking up. I'm going to use the Jdiction blue pigment for, quote, ceramic resin. Shake that up a little bit. And I'm also going to use this water-based pigment that I got from Temu. So shake that one up. But I already had, but we'll shake it up some more. So the blue is going to go with the pink and the yellow is going to go with the green. I figured that would be a good idea. I have measured out 60 grams, 60 mils, same diff, for each of these pieces. So we'll do one and we'll do the other, and we will see where we end up at the end of this video, right? Because you're all excited about this. I know you are. I know. Okay, let's get this mixed up and going as I'm knocking stuff all over the place. I had thought of using some of the Oscar Goose paste. I did play around a little bit with it, doing a couple of side pieces. So this is what the color looks like. As usual, if anyone out there has used the ceramic resin, you know that when you mix certain colors in the water, I mean, it's very intense, but the whiteness of the powder takes it down a notch or four. So yeah, it took it down quite a bit, but the water looked really impressive. And I'm sure, like, I can see very sort of glitter in the pieces, and which is great. I haven't decided what I'm doing with that piece. The other piece I did was just an ornament, and I've taken it out of the mold already. So it's working on drying out because we know we have to do that. So get this all mixed up with my whisk, if you will. I'm kind of glad I've gone back to doing some of the Mix2Mold videos. It was like, I need to do something with Mix2Mold. I haven't done anything with them for quite a while. The next piece we're going to be working on, I believe, is going to be a commission piece. I had done a piece for someone, and someone had seen it, decided they wanted one. So I'm just in the process of getting that all organized, but I figured it'd be a good video to do. Let you see something of me making a commission piece. Hopefully you can hear me over all the noise. I don't know how many drops of this Jdiction I'm going to put in here, but now the only thing I don't like about these is sometimes the nozzle gets, I need one of my pins to push some of this down. I guess when these things sit for a while, then it dries up. I really don't want my fingers all covered. No. I don't want my fingers covered. How well did that work out for me, eh? Let's see if this... Come on. Now I know the Jdiction is a very pigmented dye for this stuff. And how unfair of me to be mixing this up in something that is white, eh? You'll get to see it as I pour it out. Not to worry, not to worry, not to worry. Very intense blue right now. Okay, put this over here. And let's pour. Now I worked from the center out, just to make sure that it gets everywhere I want it to go. I just want to make sure all my ceramic resin is mixed in there. You know, it's so funny. I do this all the time, don't I? I've got the Lazy Susan, and what do? I don't use it. You people should be so proud of me and what I try to accomplish and then don't. So let me get out one of my wet wipes so I can at least work on getting some of this dye off my hands before I get it on, you know, like everything else. Okay, let's just, I really don't think there's going to be much in the way of air bubbles, but we will do this anyways. All right, now let's do the yellow. Right, I'm doing this in the wrong order, aren't I? All right. That there. Oops, I guess before I throw this into that, I should wipe this out, right? End up with the green, and I don't want green. Get most of it out anyway, so we don't end up with green on green. Okay, I think I got most of it. All right, let's mix this up. I really do like this mini mixer. I think these are really handy when you're working with the Mix2Mold. You're less likely to have stuff sitting on the bottom. All right, let's get some of the yellow mixed in. Okay, I think I got quite a bit of yellow in that. I thought I had a Jdiction yellow, and if I do, I have absolutely no idea where I've put it. I think this star turned out, the star that I had done was a really pretty yellow. So I think this will be nice. It'll be subtle, but I think it'll still be pretty. Okay, let's do this. All right. All right. Get my colors put together. Containers put to the side. Okay, so now we're going to have to wait before we can take this out of the mold. I just want to find my... I am looking for something specific and I don't know where I put... There it is. I have a couple of things in my Mix2Mold that I want to get out. Is that the only one? I don't normally cover these up, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, considering in some ways they're no different than resin, right? That they get dust in them. Ah, come on. There we go. Got that. So maybe I'll go get something to cover these up with. We will let these sit and set for, I'll give them probably an hour, hour and a half. We'll come and we'll take them out, and fingers crossed these turn out the way I'm expecting them to. See you then. Alrighty then, we are about to take these pieces out. I did cover them up. I noticed when I got down there was moisture within the containers I'd put over them, so I have my fingers crossed that that doesn't impact the results of what I was going for with these two pieces. So keep your fingers crossed, people. Okay, so this is what we've got on this side. Looks pretty cool, right? I'll loosen this up very carefully around the sides. It's beautiful how easy the Mix2Mold comes out of this stuff. Very carefully going to remove the mold. Bingo. So, first one. I will admit that may not be on center, and I'm okay with that. That one definitely isn't, but that's okay. That wasn't the point behind this video, how well I can center things. I'm usually very good at that because, well, I like things to be centered. But sometimes, you know, you make things and you do them off center, and there's a reason for it. All right, I want to carefully move that one off to the side. And we'll carefully turn this one over. And we will carefully remove the mold. Now we do still have a bit of an imprint on this one. Now we were dealing with two totally different pigments. One was from Temu, the other was the resin crete. So it may be a little bit that's why I have some of the pattern left in this. But not a big deal. That's not a big deal to me whatsoever. I can clean my mold. The point of this video and what I was really attempting to do was to find a way, again, of incorporating something into the Mix2Mold to give us a pattern that is level with the Mix2Mold. And then we have these two. And you know what, it's like I said, it's just a new way of doing something. So I really don't want to do this right now, but it's level. It's level with the Mix2Mold. I don't want to do that. I don't want to touch them right now just because, but it's level. So you have a new idea for your Mix2Mold. We could have done multiple different patterns on this. The ones that I had done originally, I only had the Christmas ones. I got the Mandela ones. I've got some graffiti ones coming to me, but I don't know. As I say, I'm looking for new and interesting ways to be able to work with the Mix2Mold that gives me, you know, different options, different ideas. Instead of everything being above, this is now, you know, in here. You can see the pattern really well. Again, it's just another idea for you, something you can try. Again, whether you wanted to do something on the other side of this, that would be totally up to you as an individual. I have bigger stencils that I can work on. I got some blue on that, but that's okay. I can sand that off. I have some bigger stencils, so I can use them to do the other side if I want to. But I hope you found this helpful. I hope it gives you some new ideas on how to work with the Mix2Mold. You could do the stencil on top of it after you made the piece, but why not have it embedded? I think that's kind of cool. So that's what I was going for, was something cool. I may do for myself another one using the snowfall from the Distress and letting it sit longer. And also, if I have one straight pour, maybe it wouldn't have run like it did. So I don't know for sure on that one. I might give that another go. I like the concept. I think it's a neat idea. Again, it's, you know, up to you as an individual. Do you want to do something like this or not? I have to admit, I don't know if someone else has done this already where they've worked with it, but again, I just get down and I start playing and, you know, come up with whatever ideas I can possibly come up with. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this idea. I like it. I think it's kind of cool. I'll probably be doing more pieces like this. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for participating in my videos like you usually all do. I so appreciate it. So until next time, be creative, play, experiment, see what you can come up with. You might be very interested in what you actually end up coming with. And I actually like my colors, and I'm glad I didn't leave it just white. Have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.